Are you an FPL part-timer? Are you just a dirty casual that don't know no players? Well, have I got the thing for you? That's right, get in the bin. But don't worry, I do actually have something for you today. Welcome to the Game Week 1 Players to Watch. Now this is the series where I suggest players that we should get our binoculars out for, inspect the gadgeting and having a gander at in the next FPL game week, where these players could potentially be the sexiest options for your next transfer. This Game Week 1 watch list is just built different to usual watch lists though, where we don't really have form to help guide us with some of these picks. So we are going in blind, looking at players that may be new transfers or potential new starters in their teams. Jumping straight in with a player not a single person has thought about owning yet. Well, that isn't quite true, because even though he hasn't played a single minute in the Premier League yet, he's kind of currently the second most chosen player in FPL right now. Oh, crumbs. But it is the German goal destroyer, Timo Werner. Now, the Germans are just really efficient at everything, and he definitely contributes to that himself, being one of the most efficient goal scorers in the game right now. But Chelsea do have a tendency to absolutely frick up their strikers, spending the big bucks but getting little returns. Morata who? But I believe Timo could do really well straight at the start, playing Brighton first, where he's even tipped to potentially be the top goal scorer of the season before it's even started. So can he do it straight away in his new team? Can he be on for a Timo winner? We'll have to watch, get it? And see him being our first watch list player of the year. With our next player joining the list for us to stare at in the season, it's West Brom's Matheus Pereira. Now, he's not a new player for them after he gave his own little spank into the Championship last season on loan, also helping them get promoted. Now, I think he's recovered from a potential back injury after he single-handedly carried the entire West Brom team on his back to that promotion. But he is definitely their best player. But the real question on our lips is, can he do it in the Premier League? West Brom actually have a great run of opening fixtures, playing only one of the top 6 teams in their first 7 games, where that game is home too. So if he can do it in the Premier League, I feel like he might be able to show us straight away, where he'll be up against a Leicester team without some of their key defenders in Game Week 1, making him our second Game Week 1 players to watch added to the watch list. Next up, a Spanish international now playing for the biggest club in the world. Well, according to their fans they are, but the world hasn't really heard of them in the last 15 years. But could this player help them have something to say about that? Being RODRIGO. Now, he is probably still Spain's first choice striker, also getting an assist the other day in the Nations League, but he has actually been a great, well-known striker for a good few years in Spain now. But his last season with Valencia was Spain without the S, being all pain, only scoring 4 goals all season. But there is still no doubt he is a great striker, hoping to do it in the Premier League. Now, the big doubt lies on how well and how quick he can gel to his new team of Leeds United. They have been used to the Dominic Donkey Bamford up front for years, where surely RODRIGO is just a slight upgrade. Now, the main reason he is ones to watch for me though is because he's the low price of only 6 million. And a player of his stature, if he moved to a right now bigger club, he could have actually been priced higher. Now, he probably is more of a ones to watch for the first few weeks rather than just Game Week 1, as he doesn't have the easiest, nicest fixture, playing Liverpool away to start. Oh dear. But definitely a player to keep an eye on at the start. The next player might not be potential Ballon d'Or winning, maybe not even considered a great player, but could actually be one of the best value picks in the entire game of FPL this year. It's, are you ready for this? An Arsenal defender, yeah, wait for it, with William Saliba. Now, the reason that he could potentially be a very great option is that not only would he be a starting player for a top 6 team priced at only 4.5 million, but actually is a very tall centre-back who could possibly get his slab head, get his Swede on the end of some headers on some set pieces. Also, since Arteta, dare I say this, Arsenal have actually been quite good defensively. Like, what? How did he turn that wibbly-wobbly soup defence good? But they've also been playing a 3 centre-back system lately, meaning there could be one extra spot for him to play, making him potentially more nailed. But he is definitely nailed to the watch list to watch straight away, with Arsenal playing Fulham in their first game. The next guy is a guy who is not only an expensive guy, but it's a very talented guy. It's the guy Kai Havertz. Now, amongst the 200 million quid and left kidney Chelsea have already gone and spent, their latest signing of Kai Havertz was their club record fee for a signing. And they've been buying players like his ultimate team for the last 10 years. So you would imagine Kai is not only rated enough to do well in the Premier League, but hopefully rated enough to play almost every game for Chelsea. And that is actually a worry with Chelsea assets in FPL this year, is you have no donkey's clue who's gonna bloody start. Could Frank Lampard be the new Pep Roulette? Oh dear. That is one thing we'll have to watch out for in the first few weeks. But Kai is an attacking midfielder that can defo bag in a few goals. He can also play on the chicken wing and also as a shadow striker just behind the first man. Where actually Timo Werner likes to drop off to receive the ball, so could we see Kai maybe pushing up further and being one of the furthest forward players for Chelsea? But Kai is probably unlikely to start the first game as he hasn't trained with the squad that much, but not quite sure yet. These are all things we are yet to know, and is the reason why the guy Kai is our 5th player on our Gameweek's 1 watch list. Moving on to our next player, being HAVERTZ. Easy to mispronounce apparently. But Eze here is a bright young prospect that Palace have snapped up from the Championship, where he's looking to take that next step up. He's a skillful Zaha type player who might be Zaha's replacement if he's on the way out of the exit door. But we're still not sure on that. But if Zaha does stay, then Palace's attack could actually be quite menacing. Not their usual pushover selves having bloody Bambi on Ice Benteke up front, where they might aim to score just a little bit more than the only 30 league goals they managed last year. I feel like Eze is going to be one of those players that's just really nice to watch, just pleasing on the eyes, which makes him a good ones to watch player on the list here, but we aren't quite sure if he will turn those silky feet and trickery into actual FPL points, so we will have to wait and see. The next one is another Mr. Mispronunciation, where there have been physical fist fights in the community on how to say his name properly. Well, not really, but some people are acting that threatening when you say it wrong. With that player being Matt Doherty. Now, the past 2 seasons, we were really gifted with a great, very attacking fullback that even without having to contribute to the defence himself, his team still managed to keep a lot of clean sheets. Where he was that good, even at the 6 million price tag for a defender, he was almost one of the first picks in all of our teams. But now the Mourinho bus has arrived, snapped him up, and he is now a member of Bottle FC Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this could actually be better for him. He could be more attacking than ever, and he could get more clean sheets than ever. But we have absolutely no freaking clue. And I don't really have Mourinho's number in my phone either, so we can't ring him and ask him what's his plans. So the only way we have of finding out is watching him get in the front seat of that bus and see how well he can park in the Spurs team. Matt Doherty, Matt definitely wants to watch. Next is a player that's going to have to really fight off some competition in his team. He's not only got the Daddy Ings taking up a striker spot, but he's also got Shane Long PP breathing down his neck. It's Che Adams. Now, Che Adams, for the majority of the season in his new club last year, completely forgot how to kick a ball. Saying he had 2 left feet would have actually been a compliment to him. He was that bad. But after some very nice gifts delivered to him on his plate, including Edison coming out like 30 yards off his line and then giving him the ball, he managed to actually do a few goals during Project Restart. So if he fancies actually putting on football boots that aren't shaped like bananas again, he might be able to carry on kicking that ball in the net. He could potentially be one of the best 6 million price forwards in the entire world of FPL, especially with Southampton's opening fixtures. If he scores game week 1, then I reckon it's his spot to keep for a while. Definitely making him ones to watch this week. With our final suggested game week 1 player to watch. Ones to get your telescopes out for. Players to have a staring competition with in their first games. It's finishing with Reece James. Now, James was expected to be one of the breakout stars for Chelsea last season, and although he did put some decent performances in, nothing to tickle or pickle too much to impress us all with. But what makes him an even better option now is actually their new signing of Hakim Ziyech, because this is the way that Ziyech plays. He always aims to cut inside and make a pass, which leaves the outside channel for their fullback to run into to potentially make all of the crosses. Wink wink. That fullback would be Reece James. And yeah, although they might not be as good, this is actually very similar to how Salah and Trent perform on the pitch, where we could see something similar with these two. Definitely more of a B-Tech version. but definitely more of a cheaper option. But then also, with the defensive reinforcements that Chelsea have made, I think they will be hoping to at least keep just a few more clean sheets than they managed last season. I mean, when you got Kepa in goals, literally fingering blocks of butter all game to keep his gloves all slippy, it's quite hard. But I do think Chelsea will be better defensively this season. Not hard, is it? So at 5 million, Reece James could actually be one of the best, cheapest defender options. But there's still a big but. They kind of still have their club captain Azpilicueta to play in James's position, so could be sharing minutes. But now if they do play 5 at the back with chicken wing backs, not only would that probably mean James could be more attacking, but it could mean he could be more guaranteed to play. So that is something we just don't know yet, and can he find out until it happens. Which is why all of these players are on our Game Week 1 players to watch, ones to add to the watch list to see how they do. Now the first game week is where actually a lot of hidden gems suddenly appear. Like last year, when minimum price defender Lord Lundstrom played the entire game in midfield. And then in game week 2, he goes and scores and gets all of the points. Where managers like me had him in from the start anyway. Hoo-hoo. Stuff like this, even if it might be hinted at in pre-season, just might not be that clear until it happens. So which is why we really need to have a look out for some great players straight from the start to get that slight edge over our rivals. So that is it. I will be bringing one of these every single week, talking about not only the players we had a browse at, but suggesting more and potentially better players with the more game week data we have. Thanks for chinwagging with me and investigating these players. Thanks for watching, and remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now.